And correspondent Robert Sherman joins us now live from Tel Aviv. So, Robert, what will the Secretary of State be focusing on specifically during his visit?
Well, taking the baton from Kelly here, you heard about this concern that is echoing in Washington right now, that you could possibly see the conflict expanding here in the Middle East. Well, that's a big part of the reason why the secretary is out here, to try and cool those tensions and ensure that no fighting expands around the region here. Now, that being said, you heard that list of all of the strikes that have been carried out and all of the tensions taking place in the region that Kelly laid out there. Those are continuing here, and we have seen the message coming from the White House and from the UK as well. If you look at the Houthis in Yemen, for example, that these countermeasures are going to be continuing out here as long as these groups continue their strikes. And what we hear from a lot of these Iranian-backed militias is that they have no intention of backing down. Rishi Sunak, Prime Minister of the UK, saying that as far as they're concerned, they're prepared to keep putting the pressure on until the Houthis in Yemen and some of these other groups yield.
That's why we've acted, again, in self-defense, in a proportionate way, and together with our allies. I've been clear that I won't hesitate to protect British lives, British interests, and our diplomatic efforts are focused on bringing de-escalation and stability back to the region.
When you stand here on the ground in Israel, something that you can't help but notice is the building pressure. People here calling and demanding for the hostages to be released. That's another focus of the secretary's trip out here. Over 130 hostages still being held inside of the Gaza Strip. You've heard the White House and you've heard some mediators in Qatar and Egypt talking about constructive conversations between Israel and Hamas. We obviously don't know all of the intricacies here, but it does seem as though that a deal is not imminent at this point. That is the word that we've heard, and there are still some hurdles that Israel and Hamas are overcoming. Namely, Israel doesn't want to pull troops out of the Gaza Strip. So that is a part of the secretary's trip here, is trying to get the ball rolling on those conversations. And lastly is the conclusion, the finality. What will the Gaza Strip look like after the war is over? The State Department keeps pushing for the idea of a two-state solution. We know some of those conversations with Qatar and Egypt are about what it would take to get to that point. Kelly?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Robert Sherman, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.